Well, the state of our manufacturing sector did not look too great in May. It is Tuesday, June 4th, and this is your regular segment of Markets with Megan. We're going to go over the economic data that we actually received yesterday, which is the gauge on the manufacturing sector. This is called the ISM Manufacturing Index. This is important because it typically comes out in the very beginning of each month and gives us an indication of the activity within the broad manufacturing sector. If this index comes in above 50, it means that the manufacturing sector is expanding. If it comes in below 50, it means that the manufacturing sector is contracting. Unfortunately, it turned back the other way by declining. It's now been in contraction territory for 18 out of the past 19 months. Some people also like to look at this as a recession indicator. This being down 18 out of the past 19 months is typically what you see in a recession. Let's look at some of the details, though. When you look at new orders, they also are deeply in contraction territory. They saw the biggest monthly drop since March of 2022. When you look at the prices paid component, and this is important because the prices paid can be inflationary. So markets tend to move on this instead of just the broad headline number. What we saw is that prices paid did drop in the month of May, but they were dropping from nearly a 2-year high, what we saw in the month prior. And they still at 57 are in expansion territory, or still elevated. So inflation still is showing itself up here in the manufacturing side. When you look at employment, this was interesting because employment in manufacturing has been contracting for 7 months now, and it actually expanded for the first time in the month of May. So what does all this tell us? Basically, the economy is weakening. We know that. Inflation is still a problem. It is improving on a lot of different metrics, but it's not improving enough, in our opinion, to be thinking that the Fed can cut rates in July, September. We even still think it might be more of a first quarter of 2025 story. And that's because the Fed's just not getting enough information on a consistent basis to say that inflation is completely behind us. That's all we have today. We'll have a bunch more this week. We'll get the ISM Services Index. That's important because that's where we spend the majority of our money, on the service sector. And that inflation side is something we'll pay close attention to because the Fed has made comments on how service inflation is sticky. And then we'll round out the week with the unemployment report. That's all we have. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to podcast@verdens.com. Thank you.